Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage speaker and PragerU personality, Will Witt.
What's up, guys? Woo! What's up, guys? Is this on? I don't know how I'm supposed to follow up the last thing. I've never seen anything. I've been to a lot of political conferences and events. I've never seen anything like that before in my life. It's a great thing. It's a great thing. That's how we win the culture. I just want to thank you guys first for being here. This is amazing. I mean, to have all you people here. The left likes to think that all of you people don't exist. We're here today showing them that's not the case. As you can see from that video, it's probably the same thing that the left would call a lot of people here. They would say that you have internalized racism, like those Mexicans in that video who didn't get offended at all by what I'm wearing, right? One of the stupidest things that I've ever heard. I did another video where I went to the University of California State University, Northridge. If you know anything about California, it never goes well when I go to a university. And it was for Thanksgiving, and I actually ended up dressing up as a Native American, you know? And then I had a black guy with me, and he was a black pilgrim. And we ended up we were trying to, you know, be nice for Thanksgiving, ask people what they were thankful for, give out pumpkin pie, and it didn't go over as planned. And we had some students, they came and they yelled at us, they yelled death threats at me, they cursed at me, and they ended up ripping off my entire costume and then kicking us off campus, driving us off campus. And, you know, they were saying horrible things about how racist I was and terrible. And so I thought, you know, am I really this racist person? Am I this horrible person? So I decided to put these ideas to the test. So I drove to the Navajo Indian Reservation outside of Window Rock, Arizona, 900 miles outside of LA, and I went there and asked them. And not one of them was offended by cultural appropriation. Not one of them thought the name the Washington Redskins was offensive. And not one of them wanted someone else to be offended for them on their behalf. It is cultural appreciation, not appropriation. And so nowadays, you have all these students, like the ones that I talk to, who are going to school, and they are becoming more stupid than when they went in. Right? I was there just 2 years ago. I know exactly this is true. But the university professors are teaching students how terrible America is, how horrible white people are, and that getting triggered is something you should do every single day. Right? And so what does all this mean? All these white leftists getting offended, what does all this mean? It really means that white leftists are the most racist people in America. They think their virtue signaling antics are helping minorities, but in reality, it undermines them. Black people don't need you to get offended for them. You're doing it for yourself, and so that other white leftists around you will think that you're woke. But let me tell you something, white leftists. There is nothing woke about saying you care for the feelings of black people when you then turn around and advocate for the same programs and policies that have kept black people down in America for decades. You know, you think about something like affirmative action. You know, affirmative action sounds great on paper. But I'll tell a little story real quick, 'cause it's funny. I actually went back to the same campus that I got kicked off on, wearing the Native American outfit, asking people about affirmative action. This was just the other day. And I said, hey, like, you know, I started with about diversity. I was like, you know, the NHL has so many white people. Like, do you think that we should have more diversity in it, more black people in the NHL? They're all like, of course, it should, of course. Diversity is so important. And I'm like, well, you know, what about the NBA? It's full of black people. Should we have more white people in the NBA? And they're like, well, you know. Anyway, that was funny. But yeah, affirmative action, this racist all the way through. It basically says as a premise, you know, black people, Hispanics, they're not as smart as white people, so we need to give them a leg up. But you know why African Americans and Hispanics aren't in some of the same positions as white people? Because of the economic oppression that the left has put on them for the last 60 years. You fix the welfare state and you fix the schools in these communities, you won't need affirmative action anymore. You know, a study came out a little while ago about how people act when they talk to minorities, how the left acts when they talk to minorities. And they found that they actually dumb down their speech. They pander their speech when talking to minorities. You guys see that speech with AOC a little while ago, where she like changed her whole voice talking to a bunch of black people? Or you think about someone like Hillary Clinton. You know, Hillary Clinton, what's one thing you always keep in your purse? Hot sauce. Of course, I always keep hot sauce in my purse, right? Yeah. But someone like Hillary Clinton, who has time and time again put her own wealth and fortune above the plight of African Americans, doesn't suddenly get a free pass because she says, I keep hot sauce in my purse. They did the same study with conservatives and how they talk to minorities, and guess how they do it? Just like they talk to everybody else. You know, I wasn't always a conservative. No way, not at all. When I was in high school, I actually ended up working for a Democrat senator, mostly to impress this girl who I knew. But I was also on the left, and everything changed when I went to college, okay? I went to CU Boulder, which is called the People's Republic of Boulder, back in Colorado. And I was in a sociology class. I was an English major, completely worthless degree. But I remember I was sitting there in my intro to sociology class, and the TA, I'm sitting next to a black girl, and she looks at me, and she says, you are oppressing this girl next to you because of the color of your skin. And the black girl looks at me, and she's like, this is really awkward for me. I don't know what's going on right now. And I was like, you know, I don't really feel like I was oppressing that girl, and she didn't feel like I was oppressing her, but this white TA at a $50,000 a year university gets to tell me that I'm oppressing someone. This is how you create a victim culture in America. It happens at the universities. You know, the people at the New York Times, they asked me this same story, or I told them this exact same story, and they got something a little bit different from it than you guys probably got from it. They dedicated a whole line. They said, he did not graduate college. It's like they use it as a means to shame me. That's the best decision I ever made. That's right. If you guys didn't see, about 2 months ago, PragerU and myself were on the cover of the New York Times. No big deal. No big deal, just, you know. But they had a whole section where they were talking about some of the stuff that I did, and they made it sound like I was lonely in college, I was frustrated, and then I saw these bright graphics from Prager University videos, and I was radicalized by conservative ideas, right? That's what they make it seem like. But the truth is, conservative values, conservative ideas didn't radicalize me. Conservative values and ideas set me free. And I was really, once I started waking up, I realized I was actually a conservative my whole life. I just didn't know it. You know, you are born a conservative, you are taught to be a leftist. Now, I tell this story at pretty much all these BLEXIT events because I think it's really powerful. But about a year ago, I was in an Uber, I was in Los Angeles, I was in a suit, and the Uber driver, she's a Hispanic woman, she picks me up and she's like, oh, you look nice. Like, what do you do? I'm like, oh, I'm a political personality. She's like, oh my God, that's so great that we have young people getting Trump out of office. Thank you so much. I'm just like, yeah, dude, for sure. But anyway, I keep talking to this lady. I don't usually talk politics with an Uber driver or anything, but I keep talking to her because I'm going to an event and it's inspiring. And you find out she was against affirmative action. She was against the welfare state. She wanted fathers in the homes, and she was a school teacher when she wasn't an Uber driver, and she didn't want them putting transgender bathrooms inside her school. And it was like every single thing that this lady, this woman believed in was a conservative value, a conservative principle, but she hated conservatives. How does that work? This is what has happened with the mainstream media, the universities, and Hollywood influencing everyone in America to hate conservatives and to just love everything that the left does. And we're here to fix that. The main message that I want to get across to everyone today is that these white leftists and politicians who claim to have your best interests at heart don't actually care about you. I'm sorry, I know that's sad, but it's the honest truth. They claim to champion your struggles and issues, but they know nothing about what is going on in your communities. The left has used minorities for votes for far too long, and it's time to end it. But you know who does care? Conservatives. Conservatives care. Because conservatives realize that when you succeed, everybody succeeds. Conservatives represent America. Conservatives represent patriotism. And the only way for our country to be the best is for every single person living in it to be the best. I'm going to end with this, is that, you know, you guys have been here today, heard some amazing speakers, saw some amazing moves up here. And what is the point of you being here if you don't take everything you've learned and spread it around as much as you can? That is why you are here. You know, I live in Hollywood, California. It's a disgusting, horrible place. We got, I mean, the stories that you see on Twitter, I mean, it is true. The needles, the homeless, the poop, the high taxes. Right now I'm working actually on a mini documentary about it. It comes out Wednesday, Fleeing California. Small plug, just check it out with PragerU. But I say this because California used to be just such an amazing place. Everybody wanted to move to California. It was the greatest. And now it's a horrible place. And it's because of leftist policies, but it's also because conservatives haven't stood up and done anything about what's happened in their state. Conservatives in California have capitulated to the left and let every single thing get worse. So you, at your university, who's too scared to speak up for what you believe in, or at your work, speak up, or with your family. Say what you believe, because if you don't say something, it's going to continue to get worse, and the left is going to continue to win. What defines every American is not the color of their skin, but the ideas that they hold. And the left is trying to manipulate those ideas into a never-ending struggle to keep minorities down forever and destroy America. It's time for all of us to fix that. Thank you, everyone.